In this video, people say that in my last videos I've been coming off as very harsh to the whites, etc. Well, this video I'm going to clarify that, and we'll go into more detail about what role races and the different peoples play into the Illuminati. Okay, well, first of all, I'm half white, half Nigerian myself. So, and the reason why I go off on the whites, not the blacks, is simply because history points out that these are the people that did the most profoundly evil things. So these were these European people, and that they went out their way to cover up black history. So when I'm explaining the history of secret societies in man, let's also remember these people are secret societies. They keep knowledge secret, and one knowledge that they kept secret was that African peoples were the first people on the planet, and that they are the father of all peoples, and that they are the ones in Egypt who came with the foundation of everything. Chem, from alchemy, and of course, alchemy is where we got paper from. And even the word itself, the words come from Egypt. So languages, written word, etc. And this is one of those things that the secret societies deal in. We'll find that these key things that secret societies cover up and talk about are key ideas that they got from Africa. Okay, when you think about the layout of Washington, D.C. itself was made by a black man named Benjamin Banker, and he was an astronomer and a magician. You know, it kind of draws in suspicion and question. And also that how when they made the image of Jesus Christ, not only did they make him a white man, when we know the Jews were black, and Abraham's from Chaldea and from Ur, you know, black Chaldeans and black Babylonians, etc. So, obviously, he wasn't white, and neither were the Jews of those people. But they got the hair wrong, because we see this in Numbers 6:2-5, and Leviticus 19:27 and 21:5. We see that a Nazirite takes a vow to let his hair grow, and to have kinky hair and nappy hair is of God. And Jesus Christ was a Nazirite, a Nazarene, etc. And a direct quote from the Bible is, "Let the locks of the hair of his head grow." Okay? And like in those sites, what I just referenced is Numbers 6:2-5, etc. Those references are where you'll find about the Nazarites, in case you think I'm making this up. You know, again, I say, if you think I'm wrong about any of this stuff, you can reply in comments and etc. But mostly what I see in comments is people saying, "Oh, I'm racist, I hate the white man, I'm full of hate." No, I hate the white Illuminati. I don't hate the white man. I see white people as a huge mix of different peoples from different tribes, etc. But the white Illuminati is who I hate. And when I say the whites and the white man, a lot of times I'm referring to the Illuminati and their minions and the people who were brainwashed by them who follow them. Like when I talk about whites exploiting Africa, I'm not talking about every white person in the world. I'm not talking about some poor white bum on the street who doesn't own a dollar to his name. No. I mean, some Africans in Africa are white and have been victims of extortion themselves. So give me a break here. Like I'm racist because I'm pointing out historical facts. That does not make me a racist. That makes me exactly on point, unbiased observer almost. Only reason why I say almost is because, of course, I'm bitter about it because it's my people. Not only is it done to my fellow man, but it's done to my black people in general. And of course, the white people are my people too, but they're not the ones being suffered. They're not the ones suffering extortion, etc. on the scale that Africa is. Africa has the most natural resources, etc. And they are the ones being extorted and done wrong. So when I say the whites, I'm not saying every white person, or else that would include me too, because I'm part white. I'm saying the white power structure, Illuminati, and their goons that came with them. It's interesting. You know, it's kind of aggravating that I have to explain all that. You know, when someone like me says white man has a very white nose, you know, you would think that, oh, that it's pretty obvious what I'm talking about. But anyway, so we go into the fact that the Egyptians were black, and this is key, very key. Of course, there was other races there. Of course, you'll see other races depicted there. but you'll see quite clearly that the typical Egyptian was black, just like the typical Nigerian is black. There's many other people in Nigeria, but the typical Nigerian is a black man, just like the typical Egyptian was a black man. But there was also foreigners come there to trade. So the reason why the pyramids were built in Egypt, not anywhere else in Africa, is because when the other races came in, it was what they saw on their way into Africa. It was their first impression of Africa, their welcome sign, if you will. So to deny that was a very outrageous claim. And I'm very proud that a lot of white archaeologists and a lot of white historians and teachers have stepped forward and said, hey, this is wrong. These other white guys were racist, and that these guys were black, and all the evidence points to them being black, and that the Egyptian government is even in on the cover-up, these Arab scumbags who say, oh, you can't go there. Oh, you can't go there. There's no reason why you can't go there. It doesn't have to do with you being safe. It doesn't have to do with it's unstable. It doesn't have to do with they don't want you to touch it, or else they wouldn't let you anywhere near the pyramids in the first place. It has to do with they don't want you in that area because they don't want you to realize that these people are obviously black, flat out black, that everything isn't as it seems. If you're allowed in all the restricted areas, you'll get a whole different view. If you're allowed to talk to the people, and you were able to, you'll get a whole different view of how these pyramids got there and why they're there. Okay? But, and again, I don't want to go deep into this right now. I'm mostly going to talk about the race issue in general. Okay? Herodotus even admitted that the Greek gods come from the black gods, and the obelisks are Ra. You know, it's a symbol of Ra impregnating the universe. Okay, so you have an obelisk in Washington D.C. You have obelisks by the Vatican. These are symbols that black people started religion, and that white people came with a new version of it. Okay, white people are new people. They weren't always around. Arab people are new people. They weren't always around. They came with a new religion, and they wanted it to be favorable to their new people. But the true meaning of something, which I can't stress enough, the true meaning of something, the true meaning, point blank, bottom line, is the original meaning. And the original meaning of that is very clear. And I dare you to go to ask a politician, what does the obelisk mean? What does the obelisk mean in the Vatican? You'll find places like Notre Dame where they slip up in speeches in the past and admit they're talking about ISIS, admit they're talking about Ra. Okay, you got your own most famous historians. You say Herodotus said this and that, and you know they take stuff that has to do with giving the white person credit from Herodotus, but they won't look at the key phrases which points all that credit straight to Africa. Herodotus and Josephus, these people are talking about Africans, giving the white man the knowledge. Why does Pythagoras get the knowledge from the ancient mystery schools when it comes from Africa? When his Greek fellow man were saying from Africa, when the ancient Greeks at that time wouldn't have dared say he was the one who invented it, because they all understood quite well that these people were part of secret societies that were based on ancient mystery schools. And to this day, in some of the pyramids, they found the famous G from Freemasonry and the famous apron tucked away. So when these people say, oh, Freemasonry comes from England, if it comes from England, how come we found evidence of Freemasonry in ancient Egypt? Because it doesn't come from England. When will you white people just come forward, come clean, and say, yes, we took this from Egypt. Yes, the black man did create almost everything you see today. We just took credit for it and released it on our time. That's what the white man did. He had a huge book of knowledge and simply just releases it on their time. The Ten Commandments come from the Book of the Dead. All these other things come from Hammurabi's Code, etc. Why won't you give the black man his credit? What are you so afraid of? Oh, I know what they're afraid of. They're afraid they're going to be slaves like they were in ancient times. And no, I'm not referring to the African-American slaves experience. I'm referring to the white man being slaves, because the word slave comes from Slav, from the Slavic peoples of Europe. So, this white man has lied to you, has even convinced you that you're the slave, when the original slaves were the white people. And they were forced to bow down to the mighty black man in the land of the blacks. Yes, Chem refers to the soil, but it also refers to the black people as well. It's the land of the blacks. Everything's black. The people, the soil, it's the black land. Understand? And no, I'm not a racist for pointing out history very clearly.